inside Gaza Strip.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Alvite. Please stay with us as now we stay on this topic. Looking at international leaders' reactions, global leaders have reacted to the Israel-Gaza peace deal as Hamas has said that it is ready to negotiate the details of hostage swap under President Trump's plan. Now, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that he's encouraged by Hamas's statement and has called on all sides to grasp this chance to end this conflict. Similarly, Qatar has welcomed Hamas's agreement and said it is working with Egypt and the United States to resume ceasefire talks. Also, Egypt called the response a positive development and urged both sides to commit to the plan on the ground. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called it is the best chance for peace, while British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has described Hamas's acceptance as a significant step forwards, urging immediately implementing to bring peace and the release of all the hostages. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Dr. Alvite Ning Tujam. Thank you very much, Dr. Alvite, for staying with us. Now, how significant is all this development, even though it's not confirmed about the entirety of this deal?
Suma, again, this is, I would say this is, of course, a very important development, particularly looking at, the deteriorating situation inside Gaza Strip, as well as in the larger, within the larger geopolitics of West Asia or Middle East. We need some sort of a framework, to stabilize the tension or to ebb the tension in West Asia or the Middle East. This development, of course, if it gets through, will be a major breakthrough and a major development rather than continuing with this sort of a stalemate. So if you look at in the last few months after the ceasefire broke down a couple of months ago, there has been no indication of the crisis coming to an end. There are only problems getting more, there are only problems getting added to, the gravity of the ground development in this part of the world. So when we have a kind of a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, to me this is an important development. But again, it's too premature to be predicting anything in the Middle East. But there is also a kind of a fatigue on both the sides of the conflicting parties. So that probably must have also triggered some realization amongst the minds of the leaders that it's high time that we give peace a chance. But there are far more, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this discussion, there are few more points that need to be really sought out, discussed, and agreed upon, and that will largely determine the future course of action, but particularly pertaining to this development which we are reading and hearing from West Asia.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Dr. Alvite Ning Tujam for joining us today as a Deputy and Director and Assistant Professor of Symbiosis School of International Studies. Thank you very much for sharing that insight throughout this news. Now we move on. Israeli authorities have been accused of unlawfully detaining participants of the Global Smooth Flotilla intercepted in international waters while delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Legal Center for Arab Minority Rights in Israel, Adalah, has said that activists were held without legal counsel, subjected to degrading treatment, and transferred to Negev Detention Center. Far-right Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has filmed himself inside the facility, boasting about the detentions and displaying a photo of devastated Gaza, which rights groups call humiliating. More than 450 activists from over 40 countries, including Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg, were detained after the last ship, the Marinette, was seized 79 kilometers from Gaza and led to Ashdod Airport. Airport. The interception has sparked international condemnation and protests across Europe, Pakistan, Argentina, and Mexico, with demonstrators calling for the release of detained activists and urging global action on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Now we move on. Russia has carried out another strike on Ukraine's gas infrastructure, continuing disruption to country's energy sector as the fourth winter of war approaches. President Zelenskiy, speaking in his nightly video address, has said that 35 missiles were used in the strike, including ballistic ones, and only half of them were shot down. A massive Russian air assault struck several of Ukraine's main gas production facilities, in some cases causing critical damage as Ukraine prepares for a new heating season. Russia has fired 35 missiles and 60 drones at sites of the state gas and oil company, Naftogaz, in the Kharkiv and Poltava regions overnight. Let's listen into what President Zelensky has said.
Провів ставку енергетика. Доповіді по захисту наших об'єктів, по відновленню. Сьогодні був черговий російський удар по нашій газовій інфраструктурі. Якраз напередодні опалювального сезону росіяни шукають способи завдати більше шкоди нашим людям. Тільки в одному цьому ударі, саме по газовим об'єктам, було 35 ракет, в тому числі балістика. Комбінований удар, лише половину ракет вдалося збити.
In Washington, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries